Macarons. They're incredibly high maintenance, fussy little but today, I'm going to help you take your French macarons from this to this. Beautiful. Ooh, wow. Baking it easy. Than they normally are. Macarons! Not to be confused with macaroons, which are coconut, which coconut is trash. Sorry, I said it. Also, I'm allergic, which is probably the reason why I don't love it so much. Macarons are a French sandwich cookie. Their signature aspect of them is they have this nice like outer shell with this little feet around them. Not like real actual feet, but it has like a little lip at the bottom. And then you fill it. Sometimes it's jam, sometimes it's buttercream, but they're French, they're fancy, they're cute, and they're trendy. And they're really expensive. You buy them at the store, and it's way more impressive if you make them at home. So that's what we're gonna do today. So these are an almond-based cookie. So we're using almond flour and then powdered sugar. So these are actually gluten-free. Shout out to everybody who can't eat gluten. Woo, how much do you miss bread? So I'm going to use a sieve and sift this, which is super important because we need this to be really, really, really fine. I feel like almonds must feel so important because like now they get milked, they get made into flour. And now I'm going to sieve the powdered sugar as well. This is exciting stuff. Oh my God, I'm already bored. So these are really, really finicky cookies and there's a lot of steps, but you have to do all of the steps because there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So I hope you have a lot of patience. I hope you're pretty bored. And realistically, how often are you really gonna make these? Not that often. So now that everything's sifted and it took fucking forever, I'm going to gently fold these in together so these get incorporated. So in here, I'm going to whip my egg whites with my sugar, but first I'm just gonna whip my egg whites until they get foamy. So you'll see we don't have any baking soda or baking powder. This is how we get like light and floofiness. Now it's time to add the sugar. So, stay in your lane. With my mixer on low, I'm going to gradually add my sugar and then beat it until soft, but not super, super, super stiff peaks form. You'll see what I mean when we get there. That looks like a stiff peak. This is still pretty. Like, you'd ski down this. Or maybe you wouldn't. I don't know, I don't ski. I don't know what those conditions are supposed to be like. I did it once and then I thought I was like broken. I was like, I don't think adrenaline works on me because like I didn't have fun. So this is what we want. So now I'm going to fold my egg whites in batches. So just a little bit at a time. So we're gonna do gentle like figure 8 motions with the spatula. So now I'm going to add my next bit. And now I'm going to finish folding this all in together. They're cute, I get it, they're really cute, they're really cute. A good way to tell that your batter's at the right consistency is you can draw a figure 8 with the dough. It's like ribbons. So while we have gone through an incredibly tedious process, we are getting 3 flavors out of this. Salted caramel, pistachio, and raspberry. So I'm gonna divide it into 3 bowls and then dye it and flavor them. Oh, dividing in 3 is so much harder than dividing in 4. 3, it's like a peace sign. So my first flavor is salted caramel, and to that I'm going to add some vanilla to the batter and still gently fold this in. And what's going to make this one salted caramel flavored is the filling. My next flavor is pistachio. So I'm going to add pistachio extract into this one. And this one's also going to get some coloring. So I'm just using a toothpick to get just a little bit. So I'm using gel food coloring because I can use a really little amount of it. Because if you use something that you need a ton of food coloring, it changes the composition of your bake. And then it might not bake how you want it to bake. So my last flavor is raspberry, so I'm going to add my raspberry extract. I kind of regret smelling it. It's a little concentrated, it smells a little like cough medicine. And then the same way that I added the green food coloring with a toothpick to make it super light, I'm doing that with the pink. So now I'm going to add my batter to my piping bag. And a tip that I use that works super well is actually using a glass to fill your piping bag. And then look at that, you can literally just pour it in, scrape on the sides. I think it makes it so much easier. Look at that, wow, magic. Or Innovation. And then you just lift it on up. And look, you filled a piping bag. I'm going to finish filling the rest of these and then I'm going to pipe it on out. So I filled all of my piping bags and now I'm going to pipe them out onto this sill pad that I have that has like the actual lines. You don't need this, you could actually just draw on parchment paper, but I like this better. I think they bake off better. And I'm just going to keep my piping tip here, squeeze, not move until it gets to be that circle size, and then move on. Yay! Look how cute they are. Some are cuter than others, but that's just life, kids. I'm gonna go on to my pink raspberry. Circles are hard. So you can see that the batter is pretty liquidy. Even when you squeeze a little one, it's gonna spread a little bit. So less is more, which is hard for me to wrap my head around. So now that these have all piped out, I'm going to give it some gentle love taps to get out any of the excess air bubbles and get those little suckers to pop. So now I need to let these rest for up to an hour. Yep, a whole f***ing hour. Because we need them to form a skin, which sounds disgusting because the word skin should never be used in food. I hate that word, and just with food, really. I have skin, it's fine. No, hey, didn't see you there. I'm gonna put these into my 300-degree oven for 15 minutes, but I'm not going to overbake them. So don't overbake them because then they just get chewy and not pretty and not nice, and you spent a lot of time on these, or I did. So I've let my macaroon shells cool and now I'm going to fill them with their respective buttercreams, pistachio, raspberry, and salted caramel. And the thing here is you wanna make sure that you don't overfill them because if you fill them all the way to the edge right now, once you squish it together, it'll be more than enough. So just like a little bit. And keep on going. So green. So for the salted caramel ones, I'm using a salted caramel buttercream. So for the pistachio ones, I have just ground up pistachios. For the salted caramel, guess what we're gonna use? Salt. And then raspberry, these are just freeze-dried raspberries that I'm gonna sprinkle on top. And finally, I have some really pretty edible gold paint. It's edible. It's not just regular paint that you choose to eat. You're allowed to eat it because it's edible. So I'm going to use some of the gold paint and do a self-portrait. Let's get artsy with it. Oh, they're so nice. Let's do some salt on the salted caramel ones. Oh, you got a big salt chunk. And then for the pistachio ones, I'm just gonna do some like little dots. Whoa. I wonder if I can splatter. Uh-oh. More is more, Gene is coming out. Let's see. Oh, cool. Kind of. I think I'm doing it. Oh, I meant to do that. I have gold everywhere and I love it. And on top of these pink ones, I'm gonna add some little raspberries too. Now I think it was worth it. I forget about all those terrible things. Someone remind me that I shouldn't do this all the time because they're so pretty and like fancy. But people better appreciate them, otherwise it's not worth it. So if you guys are making these, the tips I would remember is making sure that you don't knock the air out of your mixture. And by that, it just means doing really slowly and gently to keep them light and airy. And also letting your macarons rest before you bake them so they can develop a skin. Gross word, I know. And then finally, do not overfill them. That's when they will just explode out the sides and they won't be like that perfect little sandwich. We want a good ratio. It's all about the ratios. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Not this hand. This hand felt weird. I'm waving weird.